Shalom, shalom. First off, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Yahweh being the true name of Heavenly Father, Yahushai being the name for His only begotten Son, who the world eagerly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders, the great millstone, that taught us the truth and will well, and salutations to Jehovah, like pushing His truth, and honesty and sincerity. It's brother Yahweh condolences the spirit power, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Those lessons coming through the Spirit, just giving words of wisdom, being in the truth. What you're seeing on the screen is me taking some footage of a garden that I planted. The first time gardening or planting any vegetables of my own. Period. Decided to actually till the earth, lay down some seeds and wood chips, and you can see the turnout that I'm having. This video was taken a couple of weeks ago, but this is just a testimony to the Spirit, learning while tilling the earth, as commanded that we would do as men. Learning the truth aspects to it. How when you sow a seed and having patience, for fruit to come out. We have to be patient. When we're trying to wait for the harvest. When we're going to plant a seed. And one thing that take note when you're gardening is you learn that planting a seed is in comparison to when you're planting the truth and the message to the public, for people, the men and women of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We go out and we labor, week in, week out, in season and out of season, and sometimes you can sow a seed that is considered out of season. It's not time for that seed to grow into a harvest. So me gardening, I'm learning, patience, man. Because each time I go to check on the update of this garden, I find more and more things that begin to sprout up, because we're approaching a different season throughout the year. There's some things that I did plant that didn't come up at all, but it doesn't mean that they won't come up, period. It might just not be the correct season, because I didn't necessarily read the details of the seed packets to get understanding. I'm just kind of winging it. Went out there, laid as much as I could to try to see what would turn up, and I'm actually getting a much larger increase than even anticipated. You can see the different plants that I have coming up, the fruits and vegetables. That spinach right there I have coming up, and then right next to that I've got kale, green leaf lettuce, collard greens. I've got mustard greens, parsley, cilantro, beets. A lot of different stuff, even carrots, man. And I'm noticing the carrots are coming up, and it just takes time, man. A couple weeks, I even planted some watermelon, and you can see me looking for it right here. And there's one right there. I planted that, and this is, so far, the watermelon was one of the last things to come up. I still got more to come up, but I counted the watermelon out. Sometimes you might count a seed out. You might try to sow something, and it don't come up, but you read of how long it should take to come up, and then you count it out. Well, it sprouted up way long after. And there's some things that I did not plant that came up. The last one you just seen before that, I just zoomed in on, was called poke salad, Poke salad, or poke weed. All right, poke weed is something that is it is a weed, but it is edible when it's at its lowest stage. I didn't plant any of those, and it's starting to grow. So there's some things in here that are coming up that are edible, and I didn't even intentionally plant that seed. And when you're in the truth and you're doing the work, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to begin to flourish off the word and come out unexpectedly. Okay? But patience is key. Patience is key, and it's important why we must keep the scriptures when the Lord says to be in season and out of season when teaching the word. Okay, in season, out of season. Like I said, I planted certain things that are actually not in season yet. Not in season yet. Such as things such as, really, really spicy peppers require a lot of heat. So you need the peak of the summer season for those things to sprout. And I noticed this week those have sprouted, and they didn't show up in this video when I originally filmed it. But now I'm seeing seeds popping up of the spicy peppers. Okay, so apply this in your walk in the truth. Speaking to you Israelite brothers that are teaching. To have patience for your fruit. And use every single tool that you have available to you to increase your skill set. Okay, because I'm having such a very good turnout with my first time gardening, man. First time gardening, because I'm using every little bit of skill set and tools available to me to bring it out. That's why you should be very diverse in your studies and your walk in the truth. You can't just be on autopilot and not trying to grow in different areas within the truth. I learned the knowledge of using wood chips on top of your garden where you plant things, because the wood chips protect the soil. So there's certain things that you can enhance the way you teach to protect your soil, to give a better turnout, bringing out this word. Such as brothers, we try to stay sharp in different aspects of the truth, and learning the Hebrew and learning about different commandments, and bringing and sharing talents with each other. Another thing I used is natural organic fertilizer, which is produced by chicken manure, mixed with soil, is a huge fertilizer boost to your fruits and vegetables, or any plant in general that you're trying to grow. And you can see the results right here, man. This is somebody from a first time gardening is what you're seeing here. I have no experience whatsoever, but I studied and I learned about it to try and get it right. But also, we do have to separate the wheat and the tares. And even in gardening, you might not specifically grew wheat, but you may have grown something that's edible, and some things will come up and grow that is inedible, such as I have grass growing, and I have certain weeds that I don't want to eat that are growing. So I have to separate that. And when you're teaching this message, you have to beware that you're going to have people that are going to come in that are not meant for this, or they have ill intentions towards you and the brothers. They're not coming in a true, sincere spirit. So over time, even though you may have gotten close, in their garden, those things grow very close to the things that you can eat, but you have things that are growing that you cannot eat. Okay, you have things growing near that are inedible. So eventually you're going to have to separate it, but it takes time for you sometimes to even see that something like that is growing. And I'm mentioning that because you're having, the longer you're in the truth, you're going to see brothers that get kicked out. You're going to see brothers that their spirit changes, switches up, and they go to a different path than what they know they're taught. That is not the correct way, but they do it anyway. And next thing you know, they're part of other groups. And that's in comparison, is this parable we see, or example of gardening. And you have other things that help certain plants, Certain plants thrive off of other plants. Certain vegetables thrive off of other vegetables. Certain fruits thrive off of other plants growing around those fruits. You have a technique called companion planting, which I did use in this garden, is when you have something that grows next to another vegetable that actually enhances and benefits that other vegetable to grow stronger, such as a technique called Three Sisters. It's when you have corn that grows up out the soil. Corn takes a long time to sprout, so you grow corn, okay? And then you plant some type of squash around the bottom, the base of that corn. Let that grow, and then you plant a bean, and you allow the bean to grow. The bean grows up the corn stalk. The beans need something to wrap around and climb, so that when they produce those bean pods, the weight doesn't go and they don't hit the ground and be consumed by pests. So they need something to climb. Well, the bean grows up the corn stalk, and then you have the squash that grows around the base of the corn. It thrives off the nitrogen from the corn and the beans, and in turn, the large leaves from the squash protects the soil and provides shade to the roots for the corn roots and the bean roots. So they all complement each other. And brothers in the camp, you know, when you have different brothers come in many cases, they should complement one another. Everybody should complement one another that you're preaching with. And if you have something that doesn't provide that complement, that sticks out like a sore thumb, the spirit just isn't quite sitting well with the rest. It might not be meant to be there, man. It could be a tear. It could be a tear, man. But all of this, you know, and goals of hopes of getting more fruit, more vegetables, more increase, you know, it comes with a lot of labor, because when you till the earth, it's no joke, man. You have to break up that ground, man. Tilling the earth. It takes work when you go to try to grow something like this. You have to go get a garden hoe. You have to go buy a tiller. And you try to do that manually. You know, the old school way, it's going to take you all day or days to break up that ground till the soil is loose enough for you to plant seeds in. It takes time to do that. So when you're in this truth and you're young in the truth, you may be in a couple years, you know, and you may be wondering, hey, well, where's the fruit at? Where's the vegetables at? Well, it takes time. You still might be in tilling season, tilling mode, you know, and then after you till the earth, you still got to go to the next step. You got to fertilize that soil. If you're planting somewhere where it's going to be more than likely difficult, we're in a place of Babylon the Great. We don't have healthy, beautiful, clean soil like we're going to have in the kingdom. More than likely, the land that you're working on is going to be something out of your backyard. And that ain't fertile, man. There's nothing fertilized about that. So you got to add fertilizer. And in my case, I had to add organic chicken fertilizer, because I raised chickens, man. You know, and you have to be able to mix that soil with the soil you dug up. Okay, and then you got to make sure you protect your garden patch from wolves or pests, predators that go to eat things. So you got to build a barrier. You got to build a fence. You got to build a fence around everything to protect your garden. Then what? You got to protect your hard-worked soil. Then it's time to sow seeds. So even that process alone is teaching you in the truth, because you can't just go out and, you know, think you know something and talk about things you think you know what you're talking about, and you don't. You have to be taught. So you got to watch Men that can't be taught, that think they just heard a little bit of a message and they think that they know something. Or watch people in general like that, because it's not just men. You even have women that do that too. Teach them a little bit, they read something on their own or for somebody else, and then they think they know something. Next thing you know, they want to try to teach you something. No, you got to respect the order. Respect the process of making the ground ready to be sown. You got to respect the process before you're ready to sow any seeds at all. You got to be grounded. Get your ground ready, man. You got to be grounded. Okay? You know, be ready to till that earth first. Do the work. Study. Brothers first get this truth. They locked in, and they locked into them scriptures, man. All they can do is just read. It becomes like a huge addiction. And some brothers read a little bit, and then they become too deep, man. You know, they start acting too deep, and they come up with their own versions of different breakdowns, or they come up with a breakdown and they hold it in their pocket and save for later when they get kicked out, and then think they finna go teach the nation something they think they learned or found out. You know? But hey, these are things that go on. These are things that happen, man. You know, so respect the process. Know your phases that you are coming into the truth. If you are at the position where you're sowing seeds, that means you're at a point to where you're out there prophesying. If once you made it to that level where you're actually out there prophesying and teaching, and you've sown a seed, be patient and wait for the harvest, man. Wait for the harvest. Pay attention to what does grow and the fruit that does come up around you, and make sure you're there to be a companion to that fruit and those vegetables that are around you, and you're benefiting each other instead of worrying about too much of what hasn't came out the ground yet. Focus on that, because sometimes, you know, when it comes to certain fruits and vegetables I know that are growing, some leaves need to be big enough to provide shade to the ground where other seeds have been planted, because some seeds just can't grow in direct sunlight like that. But the beautiful thing about companion planting is that companion plant that did sprout up, that seed that is showing, and spreads its leaves big enough to cool the soil down enough to all of a sudden tomatoes begin to pop up. You see? So the body itself that you're in might need the right amount of growth before other fruit come into the fold, if that makes any sense. You know, Yahweh was beautiful, man, because when he told us to till the earth, you know, you do things like that the scriptures say we got to do. You know, just that process. You can learn it. Everything we do, we try to learn and apply it to the scriptures. We try to use it as what can we learn from this, and a life lesson and aspects to the truth. You know. And you also learn that you can't mix seeds. That's in the scriptures. There's laws on that. You can't sow, you know, different seeds all together. Now you can plant something, let it grow, and then put it next to something else after it's grown. But if you try to mix too many seeds together, one of those plants that grows out will choke out everything else that you planted, and stuff won't come up. You know, or it'll change the acidic level, the pH level of the soil, to where something you planted next to it, it can't grow. It might have to be already at a mature level before you can place it next to another plant for it to be a companion for. And that's us too, man. We have to sometimes grow to be at a mature level to where we can be moved to help somebody else. Maybe you need to mature yourself, you know. All of this is about growth, man. And attaining the prize of being delivered and receiving that "well done, my faithful servant" from Yahweh Shai. That's what we all want, man. We all want to be, partakers of that harvest. Because if everything you see here isn't harvested, what happens is the winter can come and kills it all off, or it overgrows to the point to where it begins to die, and pests get to it if it isn't harvested in time. But Yahweh Shai knows the correct time to come for that harvest. He knows when you can actually be plucked out. It's like an onion. You see that onion right there, the little stringy things to the left of the screen. Onions are not ready to be harvested until those leaves basically look as if they're dying off and they're laying on the ground. So they're getting they're getting close. But right now they're not ready to be harvested. The bulb isn't big enough yet. So we're all waiting for that as well. Now you can see the lettuce is ready to be harvested, but there's carrots growing in there that isn't ready yet. So I got a couple scriptures, man, to go into it. Okay, we'll start the book of James 5 and 7. It says, "Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of Yahweh. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain." Okay? Requires rain. In the springtime, you have early rain and latter rain in the day. And that's enough for the fruit to start coming out. And we got to be in season, out of season. Sometimes you got to plant stuff that's out of season. And guess what? When the right season comes around, they're going to come out, man. They're going to come. And we're going to see a great influx of people starting to try to come into the fold, especially when we reach a level of spiritual maturity to be able to handle that magnitude of the people coming into the fold or trying to come into the fold. You have to be able to weed people out too. Separate the wheat from the tares. That's going to take a lot of maturity to do that, man. But look at an example of our apostles and elders. Look how patiently they've been out there bringing out this word. Apostle Tahar, he's been teaching the word since the mid 1980s, man. It's over 40 plus years. But you look at the fruit that he has from that patience. Look how many brothers are now all over the world woke up, man. Call all Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai for that. So, if you look at how long that took, think of the patience that takes. Think of the patience that takes, man. This is the book of Galatians 6 and 9. It says, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not." This is why there's certain scriptures that say, prophesy unto the wind. You got brothers that making videos on a regular basis, pushing them out. Like, oh man, I ain't got no views. Don't even worry about it, man. For one thing, you can't trust the view shit at all. I'm going to tell you right now. We've seen the levels and stages when YouTube began basically tapping in and altering the likes and the views and stuff like that on our videos. They fuck with that shit. So you might see just one view, but really you may have 100,000. But they don't want you to know that because they want to try to just discourage you. But being Israelites, when you're growing in this truth, you reach a level where you should know that shouldn't discourage you at all, because that means 0 to nothing as far as how many views you get. So you won't give a shit and just continue to push it out. And guess what? Little do you know, you do got thousands of people watching. You do. So if you get discouraged by some shit they're lying to you about, how many people's watching your video, and all of a sudden you stop, look how many thousands of people you just stopped on. Don't do that. Don't be in that spirit, man. I ignore that shit completely. You know how many new channels that I had to restart? You know? My very first channel I had it was over, I think, 1,000 subscribers. You know? Thousands of hits, hundreds of likes and things like that. And then YouTube started fucking with the algorithm and stuff like that, taking channels down and videos down for certain things that we say. So now it appears that, you know, sometimes nobody's watching. But I don't give a shit. Scriptures say, prophesy unto the wind, man. I know the angels are sending up the lessons and the report that's coming out. They're sending up the works and reporting it to Yahweh Shai. And that's all that matters to me as far as who is seeing the work. As long as he's seeing the work and knows that I'm trying to serve him, that's cool. I don't give a damn about what men think. I'm not here to please men. And y'all shouldn't be here to please men either. So numbers, views, how many people's coming out, fuck all of that, man. Shouldn't give a shit about it. You know? Just be patient. Be patient, man. This is the book of Matthew 9:37. Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers unto his harvest. Okay? So right here it's telling you there's not going to be a lot of people actually here doing the work. You know? The laborers are few. It's going to be a big harvest eventually, but the laborers are few. It's few people doing it. And we're just trying to get people out there to, you know, to teach along with us. But that's meant to be a small number, man. Not a big number. So that's another indicator. You got to watch some of these damn mega camps out there marching through the streets and shit, looking for big numbers. Not vetting anybody, just letting anybody in. You know, does that sound like a few laborers? You know, because the Lord is looking for quality, not quantity. He could give a damn about quantity. He wants quality. Because you have many, many people that will say, Lord, Lord, but will not be saved. Because they truly have no faith deep down inside. They just want to be a part of a club. In this thing for the wrong reasons. Okay? This is the book of Ecclesiastes 3:1. It says, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. Okay? It's a season for everything. Just wait for the right season. For the right season, man. The Lord sees your works, man. He sees everything that you're doing. Nothing's going unnoticed, man. It says, Galatians 6:9 again, it says, let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. The Lord got us, man. He got everything that you're doing, got the works. He sees it all. You know, just continue tilling that earth, man. Tilling that earth, doing the work, planting, sowing the seeds. You never know who's going to come back around, man. See, yeah, I spoke to you. You said something to me 4 years ago, and you warned me, and I didn't take heed to the warning right away. But hey, I see it. Salaki, I'm ready to learn. Hey, watch how many times you're going to start hearing that. You're going to start hearing that, man. And they're going to come quiet, super attentive, soaking everything up. Because we're being mature to a point as plants. To where that fruit, that the strength that we're going to be showing, you know, the Lord's going to open up the abilities to do miracles through us, man. And when that happens, watch how much stuff pops out the ground, man. That's that spring water that people are waiting for. Blessed are they that saw it without having to see those certain things. But still, nonetheless, that type of stuff is going to be bringing people into the fold. So real quick, just want to show another update in comparison to the video you saw just a couple weeks ago. Now look how much this stuff has grown, man. It's doubled in size and compared to the video, man. You see? Don't fake not, man. And another testimony. I lost, I mentioned I raised chickens, and I lost 3 of them, man. I lost one to one of my other beasts. My damn dog is a pup, but he's a big ass pup. Was playing too much and got a hold of one of my chicks and lost it. And then I lost 2 other chickens due to an illness. I believe they ate some type of mushrooms or something. Ate something they weren't supposed to. And they passed. But the rooster died, man. And but what he did is he fertilized. He mated with my hens. And the spirit told me, take 3 eggs, man, and place them and leave them in there and let the hen, warm them up and try to hatch them. And 2 weeks later, a little over 2 weeks later, after I took that L and lost those 2 additional chickens, guess what happened, man? 2 more hatched. Call all y'all Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. One egg was a dud, but 2 hatched. So I lost 2 and gained back 2, man. The Lord giveth and he taketh away. But sometimes you got to be patient, and I had to be patient even with this aspect. I had to trust in the spirit that 2 eggs randomly would be fertilized, or 3. Place them underneath one of the hens. She nurtured it and hatched them, man. See? That's how you need to apply this to this truth, man. This patience. And when you put in work. Patience, man. So with that, Lord's will, this lesson's edifying. I'm going to close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to our apostles, double honors to our elders, a great millstone, taught us truth of will, and salutations to your whole flight, truth and honesty, sincerity. Shalom.